So hello everyone, so today I'll be talking about or I'll be showing you how a computer system works. So first of all, how does a computer system works? Well, a typical computer system has five major components. It has central processing unit or CPU, main memory, secondary storage devices, input devices, and output devices. Now let's start with talking about CPU. Now the CPU is the brain of the computer. Just like our brain interprets instructions and tells our body what to do, the CPU interprets instructions from a software and directs it from other components. So every program you run is broken down into simple steps of instructions and the CPU processes it one by one. So let's have an example. When you open up a web browser, the CPU executes thousands of instructions, checking the operating system, loading memory, rendering text, images, and coordinating with the input and output devices. And all of that happens in a fraction of a second. So moving on, the main memory. The main memory or RAM is the short-term memory of the computer. It's a temporary workspace where the CPU stores the data and instructions while it's working on them. So to make it simple, let's have an examples in real life. So let's say you write text in whiteboard. Once you erase it, it's completely gone permanently. So similarly, when our computer turns off, everything in RAM disappears. For example, when you're editing a Word document, the text that you type is stored in RAM, so the CPU can access it instantly. But if you don't save it in the secondary storage, and your computer loses its power, all that work is erased, just like the whiteboard. So let's move on the secondary storage. So the secondary storage is the long-term memory of the computer. Unlike RAM, which is temporary, secondary storage keeps data even when the computer is turned off. So from our example earlier, since the main memory is the whiteboard, the secondary storage will be the notes in your notebook. So when you take notes, it will be permanently there, even if the whiteboard is erased. So another example, so when you save a photo or a video, it goes to the hard drive or SSD. Even if you shut down your computer, the file will still be there the next time you turn it on. So moving on, the input devices. So these very basic. These are the devices that helps us communicate with the computer. So they allow us to send data of instructions into the CPU that where the CPU can process it. So for example, the keyboard, mouse, microphone, camera. So that's the examples of input devices. The output devices is since we communicated through input devices, the computer needs something to communicate back to us. So after the CPU processes the data, the results will be shared where we can see it, like the monitor, or we can hear it like heaters, printers. So that's the output devices. So how do they work together in all? So all of a computer system cooperate in a cycle that seek input into processing, into storage, and then output. So input devices send information to the computer by clicking or typing. Then the CPU processes the information following the instruction. While working, the CPU uses the main memory or the RAM to temporarily hold the data and instructions. If the user chooses to save it, it will be stored in the secondary storage for a long-term keeping. And finally, while all that is working, the results are being shown through the output devices. So if you need more examples, let's have some. When you have, let's say you type a sentence in your Word document, the input goes in, sending the data, the letters, and then it is stored in the RAM. But if you save it, it will be stored in your secondary devices. So while that is working, you can already see what you are typing on your document. So that is it on how the computer system works. Thank you.